Hey you guys, it's Courtney here from Lil's Bloom, and today I'm going to be doing another pick a card. I was thinking about doing a video for all 12 signs, and I meditated and I actually felt like my guides were asking me to do one more so on advice for the eclipse cycle that we're coming up on. So, the first eclipse that we're experiencing along the Taurus Scorpio axis is happening on the night of the 18th, or basically the 19th. And it's a big kickoff to the next season of eclipse cycles. And eclipse cycles are a time of profound change, and they occur in these group or periods of time throughout the year that are sort of clumped together with some space in between to integrate. So we are embarking on our first eclipse cycle now, and I wanted to kind of give you guys some roadmaps or an idea of what is to come and what you should be looking out for so that you guys can, tackle all of this intense incoming energy with the most grace possible. So today we are going to be working with the goddesses, so you guys can choose any of these 4 piles, and if you feel called to, you can choose more than one pile. Sometimes there are mixed messages, in a little bit in one pile, a little bit in another, that's meant for you, or maybe all one pile applies, or maybe just something of one pile applies. So just kind of keep that in mind. Use your intuition. Whatever feels like it resonates, keep going with that, and if it doesn't, let it go. It's totally fine. So in the first one, we have the goddess Morganon, which says death and magic. So that's pile 1. Pile 2, we have Persephone in experience. Pile 3, we have Isis rebirth. And pile 4, we have Parvati devotion. And I've also chosen a pile today, so if you guys chose the same pile as me, you will see which one that is when we get to it. And I did not look at these cards beforehand. Some of them have a lot more, some of them have much less. So I think the messages are just kind of going to come out as they wish. And let's go ahead and get started with pile 1. All right, my beautiful pile 1. So you guys chose Morgan, Death, and Magic. And I feel like there is inherently something that you'll be letting go this season. I mean, I think that a lot of us are going to be faced with that because Taurus, Scorpio, nodes, and eclipses have a lot to do with what we hold on to versus what we let go of. And so I think that this is going to be even more amplified for you or even more obvious in your life given this card. So maybe the things you let go of are going to be much more noticeable or much bigger in your life, or things that you've had for a long time. So it's going to feel like a really big rebirth for you guys. So we'll kind of see how this card applies as we look at what else is to come. So the next cards that I'm pulling for you are about what you are meant to be shedding. Because if you listen to my recent video with Ricky, we were talking about how this lunar eclipse is about an emotional shedding process and what we're attached to, what we feel safe with, but that's actually limiting us. And so these cards are going to identify what that is. So we have the 8 of Swords, self-victimization, the reversed 3 of Wands, the journey, the reversed Knight of Swords, ambition, the reversed 7 of Pentacles, achievement, and the upright 4 of Wands, homecoming. Okay, you guys got a lot of cards. So it's interesting that these are reversed. I don't really like to read reversals, but Ricky kind of called me out on it recently, so I'm like, okay, you're right, I should start reading them. But I guess I just haven't practiced it a lot, so just bear with me. So the 8 of Swords self-victimization card, I feel like this one is really obvious. It's just really shouting at you, right? The 8 of Swords is somebody who is overthinking, who is too critical of themselves, who has too much anxiety, too much worry about what is going on in their life. And I feel like maybe it's led you guys with this Three of Wands in reverse. The Three of Wands upright oftentimes is indicating somebody who is taking a solo journey, is moving into a new kind of territory in their life of self-discovery. And with it in reverse, I feel like it's indicating that there is going to be this like staying put that you do that maybe you haven't done before. With the Eight of Swords, I feel like maybe some of you guys are overthinking things and it's leading you to make too many changes or too many transitions and not seeing one thing through to completion, which is a way of self-sabotaging, right? It's our way of keeping ourselves small by always starting something new. And I actually had this come up recently in my life where I wanted to launch a course, but I haven't even fully marketed my membership and gone all in with that. And I spent a week really kind of mulling over the idea of creating a new course, of doing something that feels exciting like that. And I realized what I was seeking was more so that newness rather than what is actually going to bring me fulfillment, which is fully developing one idea and allowing that thing the space, the time, and the effort that it needs to grow. And so I feel like with the Eight of Swords and the Journey card, I think a lot of you guys have been holding yourselves back or keeping yourselves small by starting anew or always moving around. Or for some of you guys, it could be the sense that you are quite busy. And so you take too much on, you have too much on your plate, that it's almost like you're not able to tap into what your intuition is telling you. Because the feminine, the intuition, the magic, death and magic, comes from white space, right? We have to have a nice balance of action and receptivity or rest. And if we are always moving, we don't make space for the magic to come. And so I feel like some of you guys have been journeying ahead, and now it's time for you to slow down a little bit. So I think the shedding process is shedding some of this over analyzing. And as a result, what you might have been doing after over analyzing is making too many changes or starting things new or putting too much on your plate. I feel like you guys are stopping that. You are simplifying. You are keeping with one specific thing. You are stabilizing. What else are you shedding? The Knight of Swords, ambition. The Seven of Pentacles, achievement. This makes me feel, because these are positive things, right? Ambition and achievement and like working towards something that you really want, this long-term goal. I feel like you guys might be shedding something that you have been pursuing up until this point. Like you might start to realize that, like I was saying here, that you were taking too much on and it's now time to pare back. And so you're going to have to make the difficult decision of knowing what it is in your life that you need to let go of. Because some of these things, when I see Seven of Pentacles, I think of ongoing things that you're doing. And because it's in reverse, it feels like you are not having that anymore. You're not going to be working on this thing ongoing anymore. And I feel like the upright cards are showing something that you're mastering, whereas the cards in reverse are showing the things that you're releasing. So you're releasing this lack of stability. You are releasing some of your responsibilities that are overburdening you. And with this Knight of Swords card, I feel like you're also releasing this temptation to always be like trying to want more and more and more. I almost feel like you're settling in some level of satisfaction that you maybe haven't allowed yourself to settle in. Like I feel like there's this restlessness that comes up with this energy here that's coming from a place of discomfort within the mind, and it's manifesting outwardly as this restlessness in your external environment of like what you're pursuing, who you're interacting with, how busy your schedule is. It's like this discontentment or this restlessness internally is represented externally. And I feel like this card is telling you that it's okay to let go some of this desire for more and expansion and ambition and drive, and kind of settle into more of an intuitive space of like what feels good and what feels like I'm achieving a sense of balance in my life. And it doesn't have to be like everything is, you spend the same amount of time on everything. It's like whatever balance in ratios of different aspects of your life feel good to you. So you might want to have a really big social life and, you know, not as much career stuff, or maybe vice versa, and like that feels good for you. So whatever that balance is, I feel like you are actually going to start defining what that is for you. And I feel like you're going to remove some of the pressure with this Eight of Swords and Ambition card of achieving something specific. Like maybe you guys have been putting an immense amount of pressure on yourself to like be this person that you've always said you're going to be. And then it's like you realize that as you're doing all these things that you're not actually happy, and you're almost like spinning your wheels and not attending to the real core self that desires to be nurtured, that desires to be satiated. And so I feel like you're coming back to that really core essence of who you are. And I think that's why we have the Four of Wands with this homecoming card. I think the relationships that you develop, not only with others, but within yourself, are going to feel so much more aligned with who you are. They're going to feel so much more like you are at home in yourself, in your body. And when you look around at the things that you're doing, how you're spending your time, how you're treating yourself, how you're thinking, how you're feeding yourself, all of those things I feel like are going to finally feel like they are in alignment with who you actually are, instead of being on this like hamster wheel of trying to achieve something, trying to do more. Because I think a lot of this is actually coming from a place of either societal pressures or pressures that you've put on yourself. Oftentimes we do this from childhood. We have this idea of who we want to be, and it's got to be this big thing, right? Or maybe some of you, it's not even this big thing, but it's a certain type of way. And when our life isn't kind of living up to that, and we get older and we're like, wait, I'm not that person, we can get down on ourselves until we realize, is that even what I want? Like, is that even what happiness looks like for me? Because every year we're changing, and every year we're needing something different. And maybe what you need is actually to slow down and take care of yourself, especially your mental health with this card here. So I feel like you guys are shedding a lot in terms of self-expectations, and maybe some inner turmoil that has caused you to always be searching for something outside of yourself, and searching for that next level in your life, and like always pursuing something more. It feels like this insatiable kind of appetite, because it's not actually coming from a place of true desire, but almost from a place of lack, or trying to prove yourself to yourself. And I feel like you're healing a lot of that at this eclipse cycle, and it's going to feel really transformative to you with this Death and Magic card. I feel like you're really going to be reborn as a new person, and from that you will be the magician, and you can start to manifest things that are actually in alignment with you, that actually are fulfilling for you, and aren't coming from that place of trying to prove yourself. Okay, so the next cards that I pulled are the help that you're getting. Okay, for you, it's just one card, and I got the 10th house. So the help that you're getting is career based. I feel like you guys are being called to a new level in your career, or a new type of career. So the help that you're getting from your guides, from this eclipse cycle, like the energy that's pushing you forward right now, is all about aligning you with a career that's actually more stable and more fruitful for you and your personality type. I think that this is going to bring in possibly new connections and opportunities that you wouldn't have imagined before, just by releasing some of the things that are already on your plate. The other thing with the career card, or the 10th house, is this reputation building. So if you already feel like you are in a type of career you like, but you're overburdening yourself and you feel like you're not getting anywhere fast, this card to me is indicating growing a public reputation or some public visibility. So you're getting help in one of those or both of those areas of your life. The next cards we have are the blessings to come after you release these things. We have the Three of Swords, the Magician. You guys, I already mentioned the Magician with this Death and Magic card. There's some overlap here. Three of Swords, Magician, Five of Swords, and King of Wands. So obviously some of these cards are negative with these here, but it's a blessings, right? So this means that these things are going to be fruitful for you, and they're not perceived as negative, so don't worry. The Three of Swords to me is holding a lot of pain within the heart. And you notice how it falls right underneath the Eight of Swords. There is this like as I mentioned before, this trying to prove yourself to yourself, like prove that you are worthy. And I think it's all coming from a place of childhood pain with this Three of Swords here. It might even be from specifically like 3 people in your life that really caused you this pain. Or there could be like 3 core beliefs. I don't know. The 3 is coming in really strongly for me. There's something about 3 here that could be affecting you, either people or beliefs or experiences that you've had that really shaped you and molded you into having some of this self-doubt. Regardless, that's not that important. But the 3 of Swords here is telling me that this is going to be healed. And it might not be healed all at once. And it might not be this like perfectly tied up in a bow kind of situation. But the understanding that I'm getting from this is that you guys are finally able to not make decisions from this place. So even though you might still kind of always have to work on self-love and self-worth, because we all do, it's a lifelong journey, there is this aspect of you not living from this place anymore. So that the decisions that you make moving forward are coming more from a place of self-love and self-understanding. And so they actually bring fulfillment instead of kind of repeating some of these cycles where you might feel like you're on a hamster wheel rather than making progress in your life. So it feels like a lot of soul healing. It feels like a lot of self-acceptance, a lot of self-love. And because of this, you start to turn into the Magician. With this Death and Magic card, again, this is you being able to reach out and start molding the life around you. Once you realize your self-love and your self-worth, you are the Magician, and you realize that you have everything that you've always needed. The Magician is the card that holds every single archetype from the tarot deck. So it has the pentacles, it has the swords, it has the wands, it has the cups, it has everything. And so you truly do have everything you need already. And I feel like you begin to realize that after you do some of this healing around your self-worth. You're like, wait, I had this all along. I already knew where I wanted to go all along. And from this place, you have a clarity, not only around where you want to move forward, but around your skills. And you're able to start to, again, manifest things in the world that are really fulfilling for you. After this, we have the 5 of Swords. So usually this is like being able to like pick yourself up after a loss. So again, this feels like a continuation of healing, but I feel like I kind of want to pull one more card around this. Let me just see if anything specific wants to come through. Is there anything? Oh, 9 of Wands. Interesting. Very interesting. So both of these cards are, I feel like, indicating difficult times. The 9 of Wands is like this need to be resilient through hard times. And the 5 of Swords is like, okay, the hard times have passed, but now I have to pick myself up after them. And maybe there was an argument with somebody, or maybe I had a breakup, or maybe something fell through in my life and it left me kind of feeling shattered. And now I have to heal. And the 9 of Wands is a little bit different in the sense that you're kind of still in the struggle, but you are able to overcome it. So both of these are cards of overcoming difficult situations. And so the sense that I'm getting is that you guys are healing from past difficult situations. Since these are blessings, I'm not getting the sense that it's like more difficult situations to come, although, I mean, life always is going to have difficult decisions, but that's not really what I'm seeing here in your blessings. I'm getting the sense that it's more so you guys have had maybe some core, like I mentioned with this 3 of Swords, maybe like 3 core experiences, or even 3 specific people that have presented challenges to you in your life, that have tested your resilience, that have shattered you and left you broken. And I feel like in this time of the cycle, you're able to actually release some of those things. You're able to make sense of them. You're able to heal from them. And I think these are kind of working together in the sense that you are going to start to kind of put the pieces of your life back together that maybe in childhood were dismantled by those really big challenges. And with the King of Wands after this, I feel like you guys are able to step into this immense amount of self-worth and self-confidence after this healing. So it's like, I feel like there's like 2 layers of healing occurring. First, you're healing your self-worth and like what you think you deserve, and you're healing some of this need to prove yourself. And out of this, you're able to start manifesting. And then it's like you can go back into childhood and see how people wounded you, see how people hurt you, and saw how you were really put to the test in many different ways, and like in an ongoing challenge. And by facing some of those experiences again, or somehow releasing them energetically from your presence, then you're able to step into true self-confidence. So it's not just owning your worth, but it's like really shining. I feel like there are like two levels of advancement. You know, it's like one thing to love and accept yourself. That's like the bare minimum to manifest and to have a good life. And then you can thrive when you think that you're amazing and you saw how much you've recovered from and how much you've been tested, and you can see your power. And like feel like that's what you're stepping into with this King of Wands, is like you're realizing your power and strength, and you develop confidence from this because these experiences have shaped you. And after like you get the juice out of them this year, I feel like the blessings are you getting the juice out of these situations and becoming much more confident because of that. And the King of Wands has this really inspiring power to him as well. He's somebody who not only has his confidence, but he has a strong creative vision. And with this 8 here, I feel like you guys are possibly having this kind of Kundalini awakening, because it looks like a snake, honestly, that is going to unlock financial potential for you that you might not have seen in your past, that these kind of wounds may have limited you from. And I feel like you guys are going to unlock these creative visions from that Kundalini energy that will help you manifest this kind of long-term financial stability. But I think it's all coming from a place of excitement, of inspiration. And it might take some time to build up that wealth, because I'm not seeing a ton on wealth here, but it is the 10th house. So it is something that's very like long standing, that's going to last you into the future. So like whatever you're starting to work on now, it's coming from this inspired vision, but it has longevity to it. And yeah, I feel like you guys might see things that you haven't seen before. Like it's like looking at the world with new eyes and seeing all this limitless potential and knowing that you have the ability to tap into that potential. It's not just there waiting and you're limiting yourself. Like you are limitless. And that's what I feel like the King of Wands and Magician are working strongly together to tell you. The last card we have is the Continuance card with this apple. So to me, I feel like there is some message of you guys continuing some aspect of what has already come up for you. So I feel like what that's saying here, with all these cards kind of talking about, you having a lot on your plate, you needing to maybe let some things go. There is something in here that you are meant to keep doing, either something that's really been on your mind that you haven't fully pursued yet, or something that you've pursued but you haven't made enough space for it in your life. This Apple Continuance card is telling me that you are already doing or already have had on your mind the thing that you are supposed to dive into further. It's just that you need to create more space and more time in your life to invest in it, to actually see it through, to actually see if it has that potential and has legs, which I feel like it does with these cards coming through. So this Continuance card is telling me continue what you are doing, but eliminate some of what that is. So like eliminate some of those tasks and go all in on the thing that you feel like intuitively is right for you. And 2 + 6 adds up to an 8, which is again is giving me another message, because 8 in numerology is all about financial abundance. And so again, I feel like this is a reverberation of this energy telling me that if you continue on whatever kind of creative passion this is, or whatever kind of inspired idea this is, you will achieve this financial abundance, but you can't give up. You have to keep going. You can't keep starting anew with these cards here. You can't keep trying completely new ideas out. It's like, yes, you can tackle the issue from different angles if something isn't working, but at least give it enough time trying one way to see if it is working. Because if you try something for a month and you're like, this isn't working, like I need to try something new, you're going to discover that happens with everything, because everything just takes time. You know, apple a day keeps a doctor away. It's the same message coming through here. Just a little bit each day is going to help you build your dreams and keep you strong and healthy in a way. So yeah, just give yourself the actual opportunity to see something through, to see if it will work, and go in on the vision that you've already had before this reading, essentially, or at the time of this reading. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. This feels really beautiful. It feels like you are going to completely transform as a person. You were releasing a lot of baggage with this Death and Magic card. And as you're releasing that emotional baggage, I feel like you guys are becoming these amazing manifestors that you might not even see in yourself right now. I feel like your self-image is going to change drastically this eclipse cycle. And so it can be really helpful to journal throughout this process, especially each eclipse. And you can look back at the end of the eclipse cycle at the end of the year, end of next year, and you can see, how have I changed? Because sometimes we change so drastically, but also so like slowly in a way that we don't actually see or know what we used to be like. And so it's very helpful to have your mind expressed in the moment and captured on the page for who you are in a certain day, and then look back on that in like a year or a year and a half from now, and you'll see that you are just such a different person. And then you'll actually be able to honor and celebrate that person that you are now and that you used to be, and kind of have some kind of like releasing ceremony or something where you're just giving yourself credit for the immense advancement that you've been able to accomplish. So that's what I encourage you guys. I don't know why that randomly came through, but it did. So maybe it's for some of you guys. And I hope that you have a beautiful day. I hope that this was helpful. If you're interested in purchasing a reading, I have year ahead readings with astrology. I can also do them with tarot. So whatever interests you, you can go ahead and book that in the link in the description box below. And I love you guys so much. All right, up next we have pile number 2, Persephone, and it says inexperience. So there's kind of a lot that I'm thinking with this card. I don't know if I want to get super into it before we see the other cards, but there is some level of like naivete that comes in with the Persephone card, or this kind of going back to the basics, which reminds me way too much of a reading I just did about 2022 manifestations. So I don't want to go super into it until I see the rest of the cards. But it does feel like there's this childlike innocence coming through on this card. And so there might be something along those lines with you guys. But remember that this reading is about advice for the eclipse cycle coming up. So we can see how that will play out for you. So the next cards that I have for you guys are what you are shedding in this eclipse cycle. And the eclipse that's coming up on Thursday night, Friday during the day is a lunar eclipse, which is all about emotional shedding. Of course, this is timeless, so it's not just going to apply for then, but there is going to be a lot of emotional shedding that occurs with Taurus and Scorpio eclipses. So those are all about like what you have and what you're releasing, those signs. So we're already kind of getting some advice for what that looks like for you. So you guys got the 5 of Swords, defeat, the Ace of Swords, new ideas, the Hanged person or the Hanged one in reverse, surrender, the 6 of Wands, upright, victory, and the Queen of Swords, upright, perceptive. Okay, so this is what you are shedding. So, okay, yeah, this is so weird. I feel like if you guys also watched the 2022 manifestations reading, then you might really resonate with some of the stuff that this says, because I also got this same 5 of Swords defeat card in that reading and a very similar like staple card. I'm not going to tell you which one it is in case you don't choose it, but it's kind of crazy actually how I'm seeing that repetition. So I do feel like you guys are possibly coming into this eclipse cycle with some feeling like you failed at something. I hate to use that word because I truly don't believe in failure or even really regret. So just kind of keep that in mind, that I am using these words, but it's not really something that I identify with ever, and I hope that you don't either. But you might feel like the energy of the words I think you could embody, or you could feel at times, is this level of frustration or disappointment about the outcome of something, and feeling like you might have been defeated in some way, like you had an intention of seeing something arise and something else came to be, or it didn't come to be at all. And so I feel like you guys are shedding the loss of that. You're trying to release some of the baggage around that, because whenever we build up expectations, they do linger on even after the thing doesn't come to completion, right? The expectations are like these energetic cords attached to us. And so we feed them with our energy, with our thoughts, with our visualization, with our hopes, with our emotion. That's exactly how manifestation works in a lot of ways. And then when the situation comes to pass and nothing turns out that way, it's like these energetic cords don't just disappear. They still have to be healed and severed and reimagined or put towards something else, right? And so I feel like you guys are going through that process during this eclipse cycle. So that is a very difficult thing that I have had to do. Pretty much like all of 2020 was a defeat, a Five of Swords for me. And I had to really reimagine what made sense in my life and like where I wanted to go, and also what made me truly happy. And I had to kind of ask myself these really big questions and get back to the core of what I was even looking for in life. And so that might be something that you guys are healing through or facing throughout this next year and a half. You also have the Ace of Swords, which says new ideas. And I feel like it might be in combination with this reversed Hang one, surrender. This is something that you are shedding, which is really interesting. I feel like the new ideas and the Hanged one, to me, in combination, are talking about certain thoughts and perspectives of your life, which I was already kind of saying with these energetic cords. Like you were feeding into one specific way of viewing your life. And I feel like now with this, it's saying that you guys are being asked to kind of flip the switch a little bit. Flip the switch? Yeah. And have a closer look at some of these beliefs or expectations and reimagine them. So the Hanged one is all about seeing something from a different perspective. And I feel like you guys are doing that in a way. Like I feel like you're trying to look at the silver lining, or you're trying to kind of see like things like, you know, telling yourself like, oh, I think that this was meant to be, and trying to make peace with it. But I think that there's something even more here that you need to explore in terms of your belief systems. Let me pull a card. Okay, so I think a lot of you guys actually need to specifically explore your trust in the universe, like what abundance is, as well as what it takes to achieve this level of abundance. So I think that sometimes we hold these, I don't know if you guys can see this fully, so I'm going to put these up here. The Empress and the Knight of Pentacles were the cards I pulled to clarify these cards. So I feel like you guys are having to release some like mindset around feeling like you maybe can't just like do something that you love and get abundance from it. I feel like you might have possibly developed those beliefs after this defeat or even before then, and it kind of manifested in that defeat. Regardless, the chicken came before the egg or whatever. It doesn't really matter. The beliefs are there, and the beliefs need to be kind of reimagined or sorted through. And so it's time to kind of look at those ideas and perspectives from a different angle, because the Empress card is us realizing that the universe has abundance all around and that we are always taken care of. And if you truly look back in your life, most of the people watching this video are really going to look back and see that 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, their needs were met, at least their minimum needs, right? Like having food, having shelter, having, I don't know, at least one friend or family member. Maybe not all of us here have always had that at every point in life, but most of us have, and most of us can get those needs met. And so I feel like the Empress card is the universe asking you to defy any current beliefs that you might have kind of sprouted as a result of this difficult situation where things didn't work out as you hoped. And they're asking you to look to still trust that abundance can come from all sources at any time, and that even though this didn't work out, you are still supported, and you can still trust in the universe. You can still trust in your ideas. You can still trust to try again, and that things next time will be different. Because oftentimes we can create these stories that we'll never succeed, or every time we do this it's not going to work out. And sometimes it's just a matter of divine timing. Sometimes things just, there are certain lessons we need to learn. And I think part of the lessons that you guys are meant to learn right now is, again, trusting the abundance of the universe, and that even in the down parts of your cycles, even when things kind of fail or don't work out as you'd hoped, you are still okay, and you can still trust that a new opportunity, a new try at something can work out for you. And the Knight of Pentacles to me is like really coming at it from the way that we pursue something. The Knight is moving forward, right? The Knight is like the one that feels to me the most action oriented, the one that's in the process of achieving a goal. Not the page who's like exploring, who just set out on their journey. Not the king or the queen who's mastered their journey, but the knight is in the middle of the journey, in the messy middle. And oftentimes the messy middle is when we develop things like depression or self-doubt or anxiety, and we create certain beliefs around things in our life based off of how things have turned out so far. And so sometimes we can develop beliefs that we need to work really super hard in order to manifest, or we can develop beliefs that we have trouble with money, or we have trouble receiving. So there's a lot of things that I think you need to explore in terms of what those beliefs are that have come likely as a result of this. So I think you guys are healing that, you're changing that perspective, you're shedding this. So this can be helpful for you guys to actually sit down and journal about maybe what perspectives or beliefs you have kind of started to develop around money, around abundance, around work, around achievements, and maybe around past failures or defeats in whatever way you want to call it. You guys also have Victory and the Queen of Swords, Perceptive. So 6 of Wands and Queen of Swords. So I feel like you guys, it's interesting to be shedding the Victory card. I feel like maybe this is a good thing, especially after this like 5 of Swords, how I felt like the image that came to mind were all these energetic cords attached to you. Those things are like specific visions of what victory looks like. And so I feel like maybe what you are shedding was that idea of what success looks like. Like I was telling you that I experienced as well when I had a loss. I was like, it makes you question everything. I was like, what is actually success to me? And it's hard to hold on to that core belief of success, honestly, because at the end of the day, of course I want to be rich. Of course I want to feel financially abundant. But is that really like success, you know? No, like success, I was meditating this morning. Success to me is that I'm doing the things that I love. I'm surrounding by people I love. My needs are met, and I feel like I'm helping people. So I'm being fulfilled by my work and by my relationships, and I am also filling up others' cups. That's really what success is to me. Is that some vision I maintain every single day and I have that perspective all the time and I'm like always satisfied with my life because of that? No, I am human and I want things and I want money and I want to travel and I want to have that sense of freedom that comes with being financially abundant. And so of course, like I have to always check back in to get to that state. And sometimes I'm not going to be there and that's okay. But I think part of what you guys are doing as well is redefining what that success is. And with this Queen of Swords card, being able to kind of check in with that. And I feel like not bullshit yourself. The Queen of Swords, it says perceptive, and I feel like that's exactly what you are. You guys are really in tune with yourself, and it's going to allow you to no longer lie to yourself about stuff. And that also includes about what success actually is. It's like, once you are able to peel back all the layers, you get down to the core of what it is you're looking for. It's like, why do you want money? Well, I want freedom. It's like, well, do you feel like you have freedom now? Because maybe you're already living in the success, but you're not identifying with it as much as you could be. So this Queen of Swords card to me is like taking away the layers of illusion and maybe even ways that we do kind of deceive ourselves or get caught up in the motion of this idea of this grand life. And it's not that you can't have that, it's just that maybe that's not what we should be striving for, and that just comes accidentally or coincidentally as we are pursuing the things that are truly successful to us. So I think you guys are entering a new level of self reflection and self honesty, not only about what success is, but about who you are, what you want, past events in your life. You're going to see your relationships more clearly. You're going to see how everything unfolds in your life from just a much like clearer lens. It's like you're able to finally wipe away this like fog on your glasses, and you have this vision that maybe you haven't had before. Let me move those up here. So this feels like you guys are awakening a lot to the truth about your happiness and your life, and the truth about certain beliefs that you hold that might be preventing that from unfolding in a natural way. So the next cards are about the help you are getting this year. They're astrology cards. So we got the 7th house partners. Oh, hell yeah. We've got Yod destiny. Okay, you guys. Okay. We've got Saturn return, age, and Aquarius, I know. So, okay, the Saturn return card makes me want to go back to Persephone, the inexperience card. So I feel like this naivete or this like innocence was something that you kind of approached the situation from, and then you had this like defeat, like, oh, I'm gonna go after this goal, and then it's like doesn't work out, and you feel like heartbroken or crushed, kind of like after your first breakup. And I feel like these situations do in a way harden you. Hopefully not fully, you know what I mean? Hopefully you still have that kind of like want to open up, want to be vulnerable. But it does shape you as a person, and it is necessary to go through challenges to shape you and put pressure on you to become a diamond, all that. And I feel like that's what the Saturn return card is saying, is that the help that you're getting is learning through difficult experiences and taking the best out of it, taking the wisdom out of it so that you can teach others. Saturn is all about that. It is a karmic planet, so it indicates to me that this was something that you signed up for when you came into this lifetime. And Saturn is here saying that you're going to get the benefits from the challenges that you went through, and you're going to be honored for your wisdom that you've developed through the emotional maturity that you've had to undergo as a result of these difficult experiences. And I feel like with the Yod card, there is some level of destiny that's going to be supporting you as this next year and a half unfolds. And destiny, the Yod aspect in a chart triggers fated moments in our life that oftentimes feel like things are collapsing, honestly, but they are kind of rewriting the script, or they're bringing us back to why we actually came here in this lifetime. And so I definitely feel like you guys are going to be presented with experiences in the next year and a half that might feel like they were totally fated, totally destined, might feel like chaotic or crumbling, but they also are rebuilding you in a way that is extremely beneficial, that is extremely aligned. So if you do have any more challenges come your way, it feels like they are really destined and really critical moments that you're going to be so thankful for them happening. And I feel like you guys are not just going to be kind of left out in the dust, pushed into these challenges. Like, if they are challenges, it could be destined experiences that aren't challenging, right? But I just wanted to present that it could be, since there are squares involved in a Yod. But regardless, you guys are being supported here. You have the 7th house partners, so I feel like you guys are having a romantic partnership or some really true soul bonds with friends that are going to be so supportive, that are going to be your guiding light for you this year. And I really feel like that with this, there's like a streak of lighter color yellow right in the middle here, and it looks like this penetrating light into the darkness. And I feel like that's how your partners are going to be. Like, when darkness closes in or difficult situations occur, your relationships, your support system is going to be there to show you the way forward, to keep your head up high, to keep your belief in yourself, and to help you rewrite some of the existing beliefs that might be holding you back. You also have the Aquarius I Know card. So I feel like you guys are going to be really tapped in to a future version of yourself. So I think your friends are going to help you do this if you ever lose touch with it. But regardless, you have this within you as well. This Aquarius I Know card is somebody who can rely on this vision of the future that they have. And yeah, you guys might feel like you have almost this like clairvoyance about who you're meant to be, or this kind of really strong intuitive pull about where you're meant to be moving into in the next chapter of your life. And so just trust that knowing, because you are going to be given these visions and these insights for a specific purpose, and you can trust that they are here to support you. So the next cards we have are the blessings that are coming to you. So you got the Four of Pentacles, the Strength card, and the Seven of Wands. So because this is the blessings that are coming to you, the Four of Pentacles are giving me the vibe of you guys achieving a level of financial stability. It might not be this like extra abundance, but to me, it's like you guys will have your needs met and you won't have to worry about that at all. And with the Strength card here, I feel like you guys are developing this inner resilience, especially with the Seven of Wands, where you're transforming this difficult situation into something that actually gives you wings, that gives you the ability to fly. And I feel like you guys are going to become this immense inspiration to a lot of people. I don't know who it's going to be. Like maybe for some of you, it will be on a more intimate scale, like your friends and your family. For some of you, you might at some point move into a career where you have more public recognition in the community. But I feel like you guys are going to have this really inspiring story of how this all began and of how you had to face this defeat or these challenges in your life and reimagine who you were going to be and step into this internal strength of knowing that you can achieve whatever you want. And so to me, this is you guys developing such like inner confidence and self-compassion and understanding and knowing your strengths. With the Seven of Wands, this person has been through hell and back and they've emerged from it so strong, so so confident of like what they actually are good at. And with this Queen of Swords, I feel like you guys are extremely honest. Like, you know, like, hey, I don't excel in this area, but I'm really good in this area. And it's like you're able to be honest with yourself about all of that. And because of that, I feel like you guys are able to double down on what your skills actually are. And you become this like solid, unmovable force. That's what I get with the Strength card. It's like this person is literally sitting here holding this lion. And imagine the amount of strength it would take if a lion is perched against you and you're just holding it and you're able to maintain this immense amount of weight and this immense amount of pressure and not buckle and not move and be able to stand upright. And so I feel like you guys are, yes, you are this unmovable force that's able to withstand that pressure. So you're able to experience other challenges in life and it's like not a big deal. You're able to inspire other people when they face challenges that everything is going to be okay. And I feel like, yeah, you guys just become almost like this pillar in your community with this Four of Pentacles. I'm getting a lot of like pillar images, this like stability, this foundation. And I think you guys are that support for other people in the future. Those are the blessings that can come out of this. And it's because you're so strong and confident within yourself. So this feels like you guys are just the most resilient people. You might already feel like that, but I feel like the resilience is going to come from an even healthier place. You know, like this Five of Swords, I think really challenged you. And I think that you guys from this were able to almost be reborn in a way and become much more experienced and strong and hardened by life, but in a good way, not in a negative way, not in a way where you are hardening your heart completely, but just where you kind of like know what to expect from life and have learned a lot of life lessons. And from that, you are able to teach people who are younger than you, who were in the place where you were at, and give them the guidance that they need. The last thing I have is advice from Spirit for you guys, and we have the Emotion card and the Divination card. Okay, so emotion and divination. I feel like the emotion card is almost like touching on what I was saying before, to not harden yourself. Like, how can you learn how to use the difficult emotions to move through them, but not get bogged down in them and not harden your heart from experiencing them, right? Like, you don't want to have a complete shield around you. You want to let things in, but you also don't want to be overcome by them. So the advice from spirit is learning how to really work with your emotion. And with this divination card, especially with this Aquarius, to me it's telling me to trust your vision. You guys are going to be getting these kind of downloads or insights this year that you can rely on. And when you feel them emotionally in your body, when you get chills, you can feel it's a full body yes. You can feel when it's right to move forward. It's saying that you can trust that, right? It's telling you to not doubt that. And that's why we have this Empress card up here, because this Empress is so trusting in the universe to provide. It knows exactly that it has all of its needs met all around it. And to me, this is saying that you guys can trust your visions, trust the feelings that come in for you. With this Aquarius card, again, it's all kind of strengthening the message here that you can trust what you want and what feels right to you to provide the abundance that you're looking for. And so that is what I'm seeing for you guys. This feels really beautiful. And I hope that this year and a half unfolds for you in a way where you feel really unburdened by whatever happened at the beginning and feel so strengthened in the ways that I see. So if you guys are interested in a 2022 reading, I have astrology readings and tarot readings for that. I am primarily an astrologer, although I obviously love tarot because I'm doing it. So I hope to see you guys there. And if you're interested in learning astrology, you can join my membership called the North Node Society. Both of those are going to be linked in the description box below. And I hope that you take care of yourself and have a beautiful day. Bye. All right, pile number 3. So you guys chose the Isis Rebirth card, and this is actually the pile I chose as well. And today we're going to be talking about advice for this upcoming eclipse cycle, which is starting tonight. I don't know when this is going to be posted, but it's starting pretty much on the 18th, 19th, and it's going to be lasting for the next like year and a half in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. So eclipses give us an opportunity to make a lot of change in our life, and especially the one coming up, there's going to be quite a bit of shedding happening, emotional shedding, releasing things, and getting clear about the things that we actually need and want to stay in our life that truly nourish us. And so these cards are going to help guide you through that shedding process to understand what it is that you're meant to be letting go and any advice from the spirit guides. So as I mentioned, you have the Isis Rebirth card. So we're just going to start off with that one. So in general, this kind of feels like representative already of a shedding process. So I think that you guys are going to have likely a pretty big transformation occur over the next year, and you might not even really recognize yourself at the end of it. And because this is 2 + 5 here, adding up to 7, I feel like you guys are going to be reaching new levels of spiritual development that might be unexpected for you, or might be something that you didn't really intend. So maybe this is you developing new psychic powers, or maybe this is you guys developing different kinds of spiritual practices that you haven't had before. But I feel like you guys are going to be more in tune with yourself emotionally and physically, and I think that's going to translate into your spiritual life. So we'll see how the cards play out and how this relates. So the first cards that I pulled are what you are shedding. So you have the Death card and the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, which says efficiency. Okay, this is really interesting. So the Death card I feel like is another iteration of this Isis Rebirth card. So I feel like this is really honing in on and emphasizing that you guys are having this really big release this year, this really big transformation. And I feel like it's going to be something that's almost like entirely across your whole life, like almost like on a cellular level from the inside out. You're going to almost be this completely new person. This could come across physically, spiritually, mentally, but it just feels like a totally new you. And this death card has 1 and 3 on it, which adds up to 4. So I feel like your sense of foundation and stability, which is related to the 4th house in astrology, is going to be shaken this year. And I think it's going to be welcomed, though. I think the foundation was almost holding you back. So there might be some things that you've like overly relied on, or that you have, considered to be like stable in your life, that actually isn't necessarily continuing with you, because it's not allowing you to grow in some capacity. So that's going to look different for everyone, and we might kind of see more as we move forward. But I think one of the things that you're going to particularly, one foundational thing that you're going to particularly move on from, is going to likely be centered around either your career or some kind of way that you manage your money or make money. So that's what I feel like with the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a lot about, I guess in a way of like, when I think of the knights, I picture them as in the process of achieving their goals, but not really having all the answers. So they're not at the beginning, they're not at the end, they're somewhere in the middle, and they are really trying to figure out the best process to move forward to achieve what they want. So it's kind of a little bit of like trial and error. And with this in reverse, I feel like something that you guys have been doing up until this point isn't really working anymore, or isn't really adding to your development anymore. So something foundational that likely you've either been doing for a long time in terms of career, or you've been like making money or managing your money in some way in your life, or even managing like certain aspects of your household or even your schedule, like something very tangible, something very practical in your life on a very foundational level is going to shift, because it's no longer supporting you, it's no longer helping you move forward. So maybe it was really useful up until now in this point of your life. Maybe you needed that job, or maybe you needed that house, or maybe you needed to be more spendthrift or more scarce with how you budget. But now I think that's going to completely change. I feel like the dynamics of your life are going to change. And so what you were doing before just no longer makes any sense. It no longer flows with like the natural energy cycles that you're going through. So this could be you changing jobs. This could be you leaving jobs, specifically with a death card. Like maybe you were in a career for a super long time, and now in 2022 and moving forward, you're kind of going to shed that. Or anything kind of related to that more practical material world for you. So it feels like that's something that might be a little bit scary, because the death card has that 4 on it, which is, whenever our foundation is kind of shaken, it can be scary, right? It's like, okay, well, I've always relied on this thing. I've always made money this way. I've always thought about money this way, or I've always managed my time this way. And now I have to do it completely differently and think about it from a totally new perspective. And that can be challenging, because you're almost like building a new foundation. And so when something is so solid and in our life for so long, it can feel really scary to remove it and to try something new. And it can also take us a second to kind of get into the swing of things. So if you do leave a job, or if you do change the way that you make money or manage money or anything like that, you might find that you kind of trip up a little bit in the beginning and struggle a little bit to get your footing at first. And that's totally okay. That's a part of this process. But by the end of the eclipse season, you will be a new person, in the sense that you won't be in that trial and error as much. And I feel like you will actually have evolved into this new foundation in your life. The next cards that I pulled are the help that you're getting. So this is kind of like a shorter reading. For some reason, you guys had way less cards than the other group. So it must be like a much more straightforward pile. So, okay, that's so funny, because I was getting this a lot. So you guys, the help that you're getting, you got the first house, the body. That's so funny. That was really coming in strongly for me when I was looking at this rebirth card. It was like, you guys are, I feel like, having physical changes to your body. Like that was something that I kind of was seeing, is like your appearance is going to change, or your like style is going to change. Like maybe you guys lose weight, or you do a different kind of exercise routine. But the help that you're getting is, I feel like you're becoming much more physically strong. So whatever it is that's changing on a foundational level for you, I feel like it's going to free up either time or energy. It's going to create more flexibility or space or something in your life where you can actually prioritize your physical health more. So maybe you'll start a different workout routine, or if you change jobs, you'll have more flexibility that will allow you to exercise more or get outside more during the day so you can see more sunlight. And I feel like what's going to happen through that is that you guys are going to have like a physical and mental glow up from this. I think it's going to strengthen you a lot, and it's going to help you build that new foundation just by having a consistent workout routine. So I feel like you guys are going to become really physically strong. And I think it's also going to make you just so much happier because you'll be exercising, which is obviously really good for you. So I kind of want to pull a card to see if anything else comes through around the body and like the first house and how that is helping you this year. So Spirit, is there anything else that you want to share about the first house card here? The Nine of Cups. Okay, you guys, this is such a beautiful card. This is a wish fulfillment card. So I feel like when I was saying glow up, that's really the kind of vibe I'm getting. Like, I feel like you guys are going to either step into your ideal body or your ideal level of strength or health. Like, I feel like you guys are going to be at optimum health this year, and that's going to again lead to a lot of happiness. And I feel like you guys are going to be able to manifest new things because you're able to work on you're able to have your core needs met. Like, you're sleeping enough, you're eating well, you're exercising enough, and then it's almost like everything else from there kind of falls into place. Like, it's so much easier to be happy. It's so much easier to make the right decisions. It's easier to be productive because you've taken care of yourself first. And I feel like it's this change of job or change of finances that's coming on here that's giving you the space to prioritize yourself more than you've been able to do before. And it's leading to this entirely new glow up in your body, like your physical appearance, your mental health, all those things I feel like are really going to improve. And I feel like you're almost going to be like surprised by the end of the year at how much you have changed. So yeah, it feels like this totally new reset for you and reaching a level in your life that you maybe have never been at. Like, I don't even feel like it's something like, oh, I used to be really good looking when I was this age and super strong when I was this age, and now I'm going to go back to that. No, it feels like you're reaching a new level. Like, maybe you were physically fit at some point in your life, but now it's like you are spiritually fit, you're emotionally fit, and it's like you're cleansed or renewed in a lot of ways, not just physically and like outward appearance, but like from the inside out. So it feels like this really beautiful evolution of your character. So the next cards I pulled are about the blessings that are coming to you from releasing whatever this physical thing is in your life. So you guys got the Hanged One, the Five of Cups, the Three of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so generally when I see the Five of Cups, it's like not really a good thing, right? The Five of Cups even looks like a difficult card, but in this scenario, since these are blessings that are coming to you, I'm going to interpret this in a positive way. So let's first start off with the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is somebody who's able to see things from a totally different perspective. And what I really noticed from this person is that they have this amazing like halo effect going around their head. And they also have these beautiful butterflies here, as well as some that are still in their chrysalis, or cocoon. So the vibe that I'm getting from you guys is this is another example or iteration of the rebirth card. I feel like you guys are coming from this cocoon period and you are blossoming into a beautiful butterfly, which kind of goes along with the glow up perspective. You also have this halo around your head, which to me is showing that this is so much more than just physical. It's emanating from you as a spiritual glow up, as a spiritual energy that you are emitting. And I feel like it's going to change your whole perspective of your entire life. Like, I feel like the way that you go about your goals, the way that you talk to people, the way that you initiate relationships, all of those things are going to change as a result of your energy and your perspective changing. So I feel like it's almost like when you take care of yourself, everything kind of falls into place and you don't have to like put as much energy into things as you did before. It's like you're not working as much upstream, even though I feel like mentally, I feel like a lot of us have limiting beliefs around, work has to be done a certain way or has to be hard. And I feel like your perspective on like how you work and what you do for work and how you manage money, those things are changing so much that it's almost like you release a lot of that. And it's like the energy flows so that you're able to attract things a lot easier. So I think that you guys are honestly not working less, but it's like the work that you do is much more potent. It's like you are manifesting as you are working. So the things that you're doing are like hitting home. They're hitting the nail on the head. It's not just like you are producing a lot, like the 80-20 rule. So it's like 20% of what you do is like results in 80% of your positive outcomes. So I feel like that's going to switch for you. So like instead of working 80% on things that don't really pan out, I feel like what you do, each thing is going to hit really hard. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm going to create this video and people are actually going to see it because it's like exactly in line with what is resonating at that time and people are looking for that, and it's like it just matches what the needs are at the time because I'm in tune with myself and the universe, and it just like flows, versus I'm making all this content and hopefully something will land and someone will enjoy it, and maybe all this other work that I do is going to waste. So I feel like you guys are becoming much more potent in your magic, and I think it's coming from this complete change of perspective. And this 5 of Cups to me is often coming from a feeling of like loss or lack, having a situation that you feel like you lost something and it's no longer like you're really focusing on what things have gone away for you. So with paired next to this Hangman card, I feel like what it's saying is that you guys are going to be able to look at things from the perspective where you're no longer focusing on the lack in your life. I feel like once you start taking care of your body and you start manifesting things, you're going to start seeing the joy everywhere, and you're going to start seeing how basically your life has so many more beautiful things than the things that are missing from it. So I think it's almost like your direction of focus shifts. Whereas I think maybe up until this point, you're focusing on like, why isn't my work actually making an impact, or why am I not where I thought I would be at this point in my life? And you're asking a lot of the wrong questions, right? Like you're focusing on a lot of the things that aren't going right, instead of giving yourself the majority of your attention to the things that are going right and the things that you're grateful for. So I feel like this is going to turn into a level of gratitude in your life that maybe you haven't fully experienced to this point. And I think it's going to be so freeing. It's like the second that you are grateful for the things that are happening in your life, you're able to step more into the Sign of Cups and manifest more of your wishes, because the universe starts reflecting that gratitude back to you. And it just feels like it's going to be full of a lot of love and acceptance of yourself this year as well. After that, we have the 3 of Wands. So it's funny because the last pick a card that I did, I chose the pile that also had the 3 of Wands. So there is some level of like freedom that's coming through this year. And that's what I was getting by the death of this Knight of Pentacles, like your change in your job or your way of making money. Or managing finances is going to give you more freedom, more room to explore. So I could see you guys being much more adventurous, like out and about, traveling more, doing more things outside, having more of this freedom to just like meet new people, see new places. And you can't necessarily do that with your 9 to 5 as much. You maybe have to take a holiday, or you'd only have like one day on the weekend or something to like get everything done and maybe see someone. And it feels so different now. It feels like you are this boat at sea and you can turn any direction you want. You can go with the tides, you can go wherever calls your fancy. And I feel like you're going to start to experience a lot of kind of like the magic of life around you and appreciate nature more, because I feel like you're going to be able to get outside with these dolphins here. It makes me feel like somebody who's able to connect more with the outdoors, with nature, and yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of gratitude coming from this as well. Then lastly, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like by the end of the eclipse season, you guys are going to manifest a lot more financial stability, as well as just generally like greater happiness in your life. This Wheel of Fortune to me is saying that you're coming from this place of like working really hard and maybe not really getting the results that you were hoping for with these cards here. And then you're ending that job, you're going on to this new journey, changing your perspective, working on your health, working on your body. And from that place, you're able to start shifting the tides in your favor. So you again don't have to work as hard. Things come to you, things manifest to you, and positive results start appearing in your life because you keep making positive choices where you take care of yourself first. I do want to pull one card again on that Wheel of Fortune to see what else is coming through. What is going to change? What positive outcomes are going to change from the Wheel of Fortune? So I got the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Interesting. This is interesting. I feel like this brought up something about relationships since they're both Cups cards. So I actually feel like not even just like your finances are going to shift, which was really obvious with this card here, but there's something about like your relationships that are going to shift around you as well. And that might also kind of go along with this Nine of Cups. I feel like maybe part of what you start to manifest is finding people who are actually really uplifting to you, who are really emotionally supportive to you. I feel like the Eight of Cups is you transitioning out of relationships and friendships and connections, or even just like old relationship patterns where you maybe felt like stuck in this cycle of attracting a certain type of person or having this certain type of issue in your relationships. And I feel like you are transitioning away from that into the Knight of Cups, where you are meeting people who are matching you energetically, who are trying to offer what you have to offer, and who really see the light within you. The Knight of Cups is somebody offering their love, like they have their heart on their sleeve, reaching out to you. They want you, they are pursuing you. So it's like the vibe of you guys having this glow up, having more confidence, taking care of yourself, loving yourself. All of those things are going to start attracting people who then see that light in you, see that glow up in you, and start pursuing you. And so I feel like if you aren't in a romantic partnership right now, this could indicate having a new cycle in romance. It could also indicate, if you are in a partnership, that you are either with this person and you are entering into a new phase of this relationship where you feel like things are much more prosperous and feel much more fulfilling for you guys. Or it could mean that you are potentially leaving that partnership to find somebody that is pursuing you, that is much more in alignment with your new self. So regardless, it feels like a lot of love and support. It doesn't have to be a partnership per se, but some kind of relationship that feels really supportive and foundational to you. And I feel like that's the ending of the cycle that is going on and a start of a new emotional cycle with people around you, with the people that you're close with. Okay, sorry guys, so my camera cut off because my card was full. So I'm not sure what I said last, but the last two cards are your advice from Spirit about this eclipse cycle, and you got the Courage and the Refinement card. So I feel like this Courage card is coming in here to encourage you guys to trust this process of letting go, this rebirth process, which again, I do think can be a bit scary at times when we feel like our foundation is sort of crumbling. And so I think the Courage card is coming in here to tell you that everything is working out for the higher divine purpose right now. And you don't have to worry that the things that are leaving are going to just remain empty in your life. It's going to be replaced by something else. Even if it doesn't happen right away, some things do take time to kind of form and come into your life to fit into that mold or to fit into that space. But then once it does, you're going to realize how thankful you are that you were able to kind of release some of the things that you were holding on to. So the Courage card, I feel like, is just the universe giving you a pat on the back and telling you to think positively and not give up, especially since it's underneath this Five of Cups, which is about always looking on the bright side, looking at what you have in your life that you are grateful for, instead of looking at the things that are leaving your life. Just kind of always be looking at why this thing is leaving and what is trying to come into its place. Even if you can't see it yet, just looking at it from the fact that there's an opportunity there for new things to come in, rather than mourning again and again what was lost. The refinement card, I feel like, is more so about your like career and physical refinement. So the refinement card to me is saying that you guys are, I feel like, refining your physical body. Like you are working on healing a lot. Like maybe like your diet is becoming cleaner. You are taking care of yourself in a different way that feels much more pure. And so you are refining these things that you've probably already been working on prior. Like you've probably already been trying to eat clean at certain points of your life or exercising, but it's like finally going in there and fine tuning those things to get a system that works for you, a habit that works for you. So it's not like you are constantly like trying, if that makes sense. It's like it flows. It's a part of your life. It's a part of your character. And I feel like that's how you are refining these things to fit with who you are. The other thing I want to say is you are refining the way that you make or spend money, or budget money with these cards here. And so this is also, when I hear refinement, it's like a process of tweaking, right? It's like going in there and making these small changes until you find what works for you and it just clicks into place and stays. So that's the kind of energy I'm getting. Maybe you guys will throughout this process be working on certain aspects of your budget or your money mindset, and you go in and you have to keep kind of fine tuning and adjusting things until you get that right ingredient, until you get that right recipe. And so I feel like this is the advice from Spirit, is to not give up, to have courage, and to be kind and understanding with yourself as you're going through these process of iterations of yourself. Like, oh, I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this, and like I'm going to see what works and what doesn't, and being kind and loving to yourself through that process, and not expecting yourself to go from 0 to 100 and just like all of a sudden be like super strong athlete right away, or all of a sudden eat super clean right away, or all of a sudden like only spend $100 a month on groceries right away. It's like that's too much to ask of yourself. It's about making little adjustments over time and being okay with that, making peace with that. And I think that is going to be more than enough to get you the results that you're looking for. You're playing the long game here, you're playing the end game here. And with the eclipse cycle, you're going to be given the energy from the universe to actually solidify these changes. That's what eclipses do. They make them permanent. They make things that shift your life for a very long time. And so it's okay that if you need to make little adjustments along the way, because the eclipse energy is going to help them become lasting. And so it's much better to take it one step at a time than to go 0 to 100 and have those changes reverse. So just remember that as you are moving forward. This seems like a really beautiful time for you guys. I'm excited for you guys to let go of whatever this is in terms of your career and money, and to step into greater freedom and greater health as well. So I feel like that is going to be something that you're all excited to hear, I hope. And if you enjoyed this reading, please let me know in the comments down below, or give me a thumbs up. And if you're interested in an astrology reading for what's coming up for you in the year ahead, I have 2022 personalized readings, and I also have, of course, tarot readings if that's something that you want. So I hope that you guys have such a beautiful day. Bye. All right, my beautiful pile number 4. This is going to be your advice from Spirit for eclipse season, which is starting today, the November 18th, 19th, and it's going to continue on in cycles for the next year and a half. So we are moving into this kind of cleansing period of time where we are having eclipses along the Scorpio-Taurus axis, which is a lot about making peace with things that we want to let go of, and getting clear around what is truly nourishing to us and uplifting to us, and doubling down on those things. So this is going to be kind of a guide for what to expect and what advice Spirit has in terms of how to navigate this time. So you guys chose Parvati, the devotion card. So the first thing that this makes me think of is relationship stuff. So I kind of feel like you guys are going to be maybe tested or re-examining your devotion to people, to certain people in your life, and also to maybe habits or certain practices that you have. So maybe you guys are going to be questioning things that you've always been devoted to, or that you've always done, and maybe also questioning the ways in which you could be more devoted to the things that are truly in alignment with you. So we're going to see a little bit more about that as we go through the reading. So the first set of cards I have is about what you are shedding. So you guys got quite a few compared to the last group. So you have the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Hermit, the Queen of Cups, and the Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups instantly makes me, again, think of relationships. It says community on there. So there is something going on in relation to your friendships, I feel like, or your way of emotionally connecting with people. Something about that is going to shift for you this next eclipse cycle. So we start off with the Wheel of Fortune, which to me is saying that this is some kind of almost like karmic ending. You know, when we have cycles here, it's like the end of one cycle, the start of a new cycle. And whenever I see that, it makes me feel like this is a long awaited thing. Like, this is something that you have possibly been struggling with for like a decade or it just feels like it's been, you know, a long time coming in terms of releasing this thing. So you might experience, whenever we have like karmic endings like this or endings of a cycle, you might experience like more intensity that causes you to really reflect and go within. So this could be someone who is kind of challenging you mentally or emotionally, or some really intense experiences in relationships, or certain things that come up in your life that make you really reflect and ask yourself, what the F am I doing? You know, like, why am I doing this? Why am I with these people? Why am I reacting this way? Why am I triggered? All these kind of reflective questions don't come up when you're having a beautiful day and a beautiful time. This to me is like karmic, intense, very obvious. It's like spirit wants to make it super clear to you exactly what is going on and exactly what needs reflecting on and changing. And I think that's why we have the Hermit card after that, which says seek truth. I think you guys are going to go within after this ending of this cycle, or at least seeing this cycle play out. You're going to go within, check in with yourself, and ask yourself if that's something that, you know, you want to keep doing or you want to keep living through. And the Hermit is asking you to be really honest with yourself about maybe who you've been attracting or how you've been contributing to this dynamic in the relationships, where that's coming from, like what historically in your life is making you seek out these types of people or energetically attract these kinds of people or experiences. It's about taking ownership over your part in this kind of dynamic. And that doesn't mean like victim blaming, not at all, but it does mean looking at what baggage is yours, looking at what baggage is theirs, and just being really honest about that, and like having almost like a mirror held up to yourself so that you can truly release some of those things that you've been stuck in for a long time. And with the Queen of Cups and the Three of Cups, I feel like you guys are okay. I feel like this is all around relationships. It's like the people that you've been attracting, the friendships, the community, or even a partner. Like the people that have been emotionally supportive in your life are the ones that you're questioning right now, or you're questioning your devotion to them. And the Queen of Cups sensitivity and the devotion card give this like really loving, selfless, almost like sacrificial energy. It reminds me a lot of like Juno. When you see Juno, which is an asteroid in somebody's chart, very predominantly, like they are somebody that's going to stay with their partner even when they've cheated on them, or even when they are like a serial killer. They're just like, oh, I love you, I'm devoted to you. And that's like, I put my love and devotion to you above my own well-being and above my own needs. And I feel like you guys are starting to realize that what you need to shed is that like self-sacrificial energy, or like putting someone first so much that you also often start to resent them because your needs aren't met. But that's actually your fault with this Hermit card. Not to be rude or anything, but it's your fault when you give too much, because you are setting the boundaries for yourself in relationships, and people are going to treat you or push you in certain ways according to those boundaries. So if you set strong boundaries and you're like, this is what I deserve, this is what I need, people are going to respect that, or they're going to leave your life. And so I feel like maybe with these cups cards, you're so loving, you're so gentle, you're so giving that people have been stepping all over your loose boundaries, and you feel taken advantage of. You feel like people, yeah, like you've been just giving way too much. You've been way too devoted, and your community hasn't really like fully recognized what you have to offer. And it's because you don't have that really strong sense of boundaries and strong sense of self in the relationships that you're coming to. You're just giving so much of yourself that you're almost like trying to merge with them or do what's best for them or put them first. And it's like you have to first take care of yourself, and then the relationship is extra, right? Them, like giving to them is like a bonus, but it's like not, but it's like you first have to give to yourself, is what I'm trying to say, really. And so I feel like you guys are going to be analyzing the best way to tap into this feminine energy of loving and sensitivity and giving. And you guys are going to be kind of realizing how to do that in a much more healthy way and a much more productive way, because people will often take advantage of people that are really nurturing. And it's not like, it's not actually beneficial to either party. When somebody is giving too much, the person who is receiving a lot also really isn't benefiting, because it's not healthy for them. It's like having a child and giving the child anything that they want. It's like, yes, you think like the kid thinks that they want that, right? They're going to ask for it, they're going to take it because it's being given, but they don't, that's not actually helping them as a person. It's making them spoiled, it's making them expect a lot, and it's creating toxicity in that dynamic. And that's what I feel like has been going on here, is like you guys almost have been just putting everyone else's needs so much before your own, and people have been taking it, but it's not good for either of you. And so I feel like you're going to learn this year how to approach relationships in a healthy way, how to have the right giving and receiving where you feel supported by your community and you feel like people aren't taking advantage of you. And that might mean releasing some relationships, or it just might mean really approaching your relationships from a different perspective. And again, if those people don't respect these new boundaries, they will fall away, and that's something that you will have to be okay with. But ultimately, I feel like you really will be okay with it, because it's like you're not going to get much out of that relationship anyway, right? So that's what I'm seeing so far. It feels like a really strong message for you guys coming through with that. And this might even be with multiple people in your life with this Three of Cups. It says community. It doesn't say partnership. It says community. That really makes me either feel like friend vibes, or multiple people, like a partner and other people. It's like are not really honoring certain boundaries. And it does start with you. It does start with how you set those boundaries. So look in the mirror and ask yourself maybe where you could be more like where you can show up with like a strong loving presence. Like think about you guys should look up like Durga or even Kali. These are Hindu goddesses that are very loving. Like they're doing things to help other people, but they're also like these warrior goddesses that are killing people. And not to say that you guys should kill people or anything, but they have this strong sword within them. That's like the strong no, the strong yes. And they can feel that very intuitively. They use these strong boundaries to both love and protect. And so that's what you want from a mother. That's what you want from a friend. You want someone with this really strong, like feminine energy that has both love and protection of themselves and of others in it. And love also means saying no. Love also means setting hard boundaries, and respecting yourself and respecting the other person through those boundaries. So there's a lot to explore here as an individual. All right, the next cards are the help that you are getting through this eclipse cycle this year. So we got the North Node, Life's Purpose, and we got Chiron, Healing. Wow, you guys. Also, Chiron, I feel like, does show up a lot in terms of life purpose as well, or even like romantic connections. Chiron in the astrology chart, especially with Venus, is like really common in partners who are married or have this kind of like lasting relationship or lasting impact on one another. So, okay, North Node Life's purpose is a totally different message, but the help that you are getting this year is I feel like you guys are going to be maybe redirected in career or have new opportunities or pathways come to you through career. And I feel like it's going to be as a result of some of the healing that you do, especially around the way that you give and receive love and show up in relationships. With this Chiron healing card, this to me is saying that the way that you show up in relationships is a direct result of your childhood and your relationships, especially with your family or even possibly past lives. So you could have had like karmic relationships with people from past lives that are reoccurring now that you guys are having to face and address in a new way, because maybe you were giving too much in a past life and it's like reoccurring, and you guys have to now like stop that flow of energy that has been cyclical across many lifetimes. Like this Wheel of Fortune card, I said, it's like a long standing thing that's been happening for a very long time, either since childhood or past lives. And it's like you're having to stop that flow of energy. And I think in astrology, eclipses are these really powerful moments in time that help solidify massive changes in our life and make them permanent. And it's very hard to do this totally on our own without some kind of astrology or like planetary energy also supporting that. Oftentimes we can fall back into things, but with strong like portals like these with eclipses, we are actually able to make certain changes that we've been trying to do for a long time that haven't been successful. And that's what I'm seeing here is like this eclipse cycle is going to actually allow you to do this kind of healing that maybe wouldn't be possible if it wasn't during an eclipse season. And so this feels really transformative for you guys. And I think it's going to, again, help you find your purpose. Maybe you guys have already kind of been on that path. Maybe you guys already have an idea of what your purpose is and you're dabbling with it. But it's like, this is a year where you're going to start exploring that in a new way. And it's going to feel uncomfortable because that's how the North Node feels. The North Node feels like a stretch. It feels like us leaving our comfort zone. And I feel like you guys are going to be pursuing that because you are almost like freeing up a lot of energy here. I feel like you are giving so much to all these people in this kind of self-sacrificing way. And now you're taking that energy back for yourself and healing yourself. And then you can put it into your career. And this wouldn't have been possible if you were having these energy leakages from other people or to other people. So it feels like this really expansive journey in terms of what your next opportunities are for your life purpose and career. And that looks different for everyone. Sometimes it's not even career. It's like your life purpose could be developing relationships in a different way, or it could be like pursuing a certain hobby. It doesn't have to necessarily be like monetarily, but your purpose is just something that you can honestly see in your birth chart. So go look up your North Node, look up aspects to your North Node. I also do like a life purpose astrology reading if you want to figure out what that is, if you're not quite sure. But our souls come in with a certain purpose, and it's often to like heal some pattern from a past life. And I think one of those is around relationships for you, but then also some element of career as well. Okay, the next one that I have are the blessings that are coming to you after you start to release some of these relationship patterns. So we have the King of Cups. A lot of cards came out. I like really don't understand why so many came out with you and not the last group. The King of Cups, the Two of Wands, the Hermit card, the Five of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. Oof. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that since these are blessings, cards like the Five of Pentacles, which are typically perceived as negative, are going to be positive in this case. So let's go ahead and start off with the King of Cups. I feel like this is such a good card to come on the back of all these cups here. And it shows to me that you guys, like I was saying before, are not just giving in the very feminine way of like, I will give you whatever you want, but the strong feminine way, like the masculine and feminine combined, which is the King of Cups. It's the Durga, it's the Kali, it's having the sword, it's having the no, it's having the boundaries, but doing it from a really loving place, doing it from a place of emotional intelligence, emotional equilibrium, not like you're like shouting back at someone or upset with them. It's like, it's just a firm no. It's not an emotionally triggered or charged event. It's just you express yourself, you say it how it is, you allow the emotion to come and go, but it's not coming from a wounded place. And so I feel like this King of Cups is telling me that you guys are reaching this new level of not only emotional fulfillment, but emotional control, emotional stability, emotional wisdom around yourself. And that this is going to allow so many other things to kind of kick off in terms of blessings in your life. And I think that's why we have the Two of Wands. I feel like once you guys get to this place of emotional stability, you then open up into this new path in your life where you have certain visions come in around like what is next for you. You're able to start seeing and planning well into the future. And I think that's connected to this North Node, is like you get these downloads or these insights or these dreams coming through around what that next thing is in terms of aligning with your purpose and aligning with your career. And this Hermit card to me is saying that you guys are doing a lot of like self exploration this year. I think that doing this journey, like having these insights come in about what's next for you, again with the North Node, feels like a stretch. It feels like a risk, or it feels uncomfortable. And as you start to get in these new downloads or visions or steps, you are going to have to confront maybe some old fears or some old parts of yourself, and come out stronger. And so that's what I feel like the Hermit card is saying here. The blessing from having these new paths unlock for you and become visible for you is that it also allows you to go deeper within yourself and discover new parts of yourself that can meet that new challenge, that can step up into this new area of your life. And so I feel like the amount of self-understanding that you're going to have by the end of this year is just incredible. And so it feels like you guys are bringing this light within yourself. And also with this star here, I feel like you guys are feeling much more optimistic about the future and feeling really guided by spirit. Like, so, like, you know, like the wise men following the star to Jesus. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, you guys, maybe you don't have every answer, but it's like you have that light, you have this plan, you have this vision, and you're following it, and you're doing it through the clarity that's coming from within. So I feel like you guys are just having this kind of like steadfast streak towards your goal, or like streak across the sky. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. The Five of Pentacles here to me is saying, I feel like the Five of Pentacles is coming to the Nine of Pentacles, is this transformation of feeling like you guys maybe have trouble kind of getting certain needs met in your life. And this could come from relationships. This could come from career. This could come from money. There is some feeling of like lack, or you trying to get something and it's not coming to you. But because the Five of Pentacles is also next or near the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like you guys are able to reach this level of confidence and stability, and also like you're able to start like growing the things that you want, if that makes sense. So like I feel like this is coming from a place of seeking outside of you for like certain things. Like maybe I have to find that job so somebody can give me money, or maybe I have to find a partner so I can feel love. And it's like you are able to transcend that with this Queen of Cups in the middle. And you're able to give that to yourself. You're able to give that love to yourself, and you're able to create that money for yourself. So some of you guys might actually find ways to create finances that are not just from a 9 to 5, or you're able to get like different kind of like genius ideas or different avenues of making money that are outside of your 9 to 5. So it feels like it's not like you're just totally relying on outside sources anymore. It feels like a very strong internal kind of self-sustaining energy. Like I give myself the love I need. I give myself the money I need. I have all the resources that I need. I feel really stable. I feel really independent. That's what the Nine of Pentacles is. It's like I'm confident, I'm independent, I can be on my own, and I'm totally fine. And that might be something that was hard for you with this devotion card, is like you're a very loving and connected person. So it might be hard for you to be totally self-reliant. Your natural inclination might be to seek others and to seek connection. And I feel like you guys are honoring that part of yourself still, but you're giving it to yourself so that it's not like you need to seek it anymore. So it feels really stable within yourself. And from this place, I feel like with the Page of Pentacles, you guys are able to start building some kind of new foundation. Let me actually pull a card on what what you guys are starting to build at the end of the year here, or at the end of the spread here with the Page of Pentacles. What are they building with this Page of Pentacles? I wonder if it's like career or relationships or something within yourself. The Death card. So, I mean, the Death card I feel like is also like everything that we're releasing this year anyway. So maybe part of what you guys are being able to start working with in a new way is like your ability to release the things that aren't actually good for you anymore. Because the energy that I'm getting from all these cards here is like strong attachment. You know what I mean? Like when we have all these cups, it's like we're so feeling, we're so loving that we can get like kind of sticky with things. Like I want that, this makes me feel good, I want this, I want to hold on to it. You know, it's like this kind of like a child with like a blanket. It's like it soothes them, it makes them feel comfortable. And I feel like you guys are stepping into a new chapter of your life where you're kind of like willing to risk it for the biscuit. It's like you're not as scared to release things. You're almost like willing to give up that security blanket in your life so that you can try new things and take new risks and find more happiness with this rainbow here. It's like she's able to achieve more stability and happiness in her life by giving things up and not holding on to them as easily. So if you do get into another relationship or some other kind of dynamic where things, you see them turn south or you see people not respect your boundaries, it's like, okay, easy, no, I move on and I don't repeat this cycle again, because I'm able to not just like instantly release, but you're able to instantly recognize when you need to release something, and you don't try to like waver for a long time or do an off and on kind of thing, or feel very uncertain. It's like, okay, now I actually am just going to release this. Whether it's a person, whether it's a habit, whether it's a routine, whether it's some kind of job or anything, you guys are not afraid to let it go. Like there's not as much fear around that. And it feels like you guys are much more like brave and courageous. And this is going to birth a new beginning for you guys in a lot of ways. Then the last cards that I have for you guys are your advice from Spirit. So we have energy, wisdom, strength, and vitality. It's interesting because the last group was like a lot about physical changes, and I feel like you guys are getting some physical changes with these strength, vitality, energy. There's a lot of like physically things going on with you. So I'm kind of curious how that will play out for you. So first of all, one of the first things I'm looking at here is like this cauldron with the energy card. And it's like, you guys, this is almost like your magic, right? Like how we manifest things to us is through emotion, which is energy, right? Emotion is like energy in motion, going directed at some kind of source. And so I feel like you guys are able to start taking your energy back for yourself. And I think that's part of the advice from Spirit here, is saying to be really mindful of where you are giving your energy. If you find yourself falling back into being like thinking about someone else all the time, or always being attentive to other people's needs and like spending a lot of your energy and focus on other people, this card is telling you as advice from Spirit to constantly analyze or measure the energy output, how much is going to you versus how much is going to others in your life, because this is going to help you keep track and know if you are like on track with your goals, essentially, or on track with this transformation that you have the blessing of being able to achieve. And so this is your way of knowing, okay, am I getting off balance again? How do I redirect my energy back to myself, back to the hobbies that I love, back to the friends that I love, and not like, again, be giving so much to other people. So always assess that, like, is my thoughts, is my energy, is my time going to myself enough, or is it constantly being thinking about someone else? Because that's really not going to benefit you or even them. The next card is wisdom. So I feel like this is advice from Spirit to honestly create some kind of like stable practice in your life that allows you to connect with your inner wisdom. And that's because I see 2 + 2, which is 4, which reminds me of like the home, the foundation, which is the 4th house in astrology. So I feel like this is asking you guys, and there's like a book on here and like a tarot card or something like that. So I feel like it's asking you guys to journal, to meditate daily, to pull cards. Like, check in with your higher self every day. Don't just make this like an occasional practice, like once or twice a week. It's like, make it consistent. That's the thing about the four. It's like, it kind of has that Virgo energy. Like, let's show up every day and do this, because it's, our life is really created by our daily practices, right? Like, the quality of our life is our practices. So it's asking you to constantly check in with yourself, monitor the energy, how much is going to you or others, and then from there, you guys know how to adjust it by maybe having more time alone or more time in your spiritual practice to recenter with yourself and like come back to your own energy, your own thoughts, and like redirecting it towards what you want, what you need in your life. The next card we have is a strength card. This to me is saying that this, I get two different messages from this. I feel like, first of all, it's saying that you guys are going to have to really hold strong at certain points, because this again is a really long standing cycle with the cycles card, the Chiron card. I feel like you guys have been really giving a lot to other people across multiple lifetimes, and your default is going to be to do that. Your default is going to be to step into the feminine and constantly be nurturing, right? And I feel like you guys are going to have to really try hard to keep your strength about you, to keep your wits about you on this journey of like, I'm not going to just I'm not going to go back to my default. I'm going to push and keep my boundaries. I'm going to keep checking in with myself. And this is saying like, you can do it. Use that sword of no. Hold your boundaries. Hold them strong. And the other thing I feel like it's touching on, along with the vitality card, is to really step into like a strong physical practice, like working out, doing like weightlifting, doing like more masculine type of workouts. I feel like is actually going to help you guys develop some of this more like masculine, like, no, this is what I need, this is what I'm doing, because you'll step into more of that like testosterone and adrenaline, and like it's going to help the transformation come from an internal like hormonal level. The last thing I want to say with this vitality card is there's this like snake here, this like kundalini awakening kind of vibe. And so I feel like the vitality or the energy that's coming from the kundalini, or the sacral chakra, is almost like this like transmutation of sexual energy. So it's like, I feel like there's something to explore here with your sexual energy and how you can utilize that to achieve certain things in your life or develop certain relationships in certain ways. And to also almost like be careful also of like where your sexual energy is going. Is it going to the right people? Is it going to the wrong people? Are you using it for the wrong things? Like, that energy can be harnessed for your potential and for your well-being. And so just being really mindful of where that's going, and utilizing it to like circulate it within yourself, or with a partner in a really intentional way. So that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I hope that this resonates. And if so, please give me a like and a comment down below. I read all the comments and they mean so much to me. And if you guys are interested in learning about what's coming up for you in the year ahead, I have a 2022 astrology reading that I offer. You can find that in the description box below. And I, of course, also have tarot readings. So I hope you guys check that out. And I hope you also have such a beautiful day and a wonderful eclipse season. Bye.